People always ask me what the biggest worry about living in South Korea is. And it's funny because, well, I never expected it to be this. When I came to Korea for the first time in 2009, people said to me, Alex, what are you doing? Kim Jong il is going to blow up South Korea, turn it into a sea of fire, yada, yada, yada. Why would you go there? It's a war zone, it's dangerous. And many people suspected that the most dangerous thing that could happen to me in South Korea was a North Korean attack or a kidnapping where I got too close to the border and I just stumbled across and they grabbed me and took me over there. Which is weird because it's not like I can just fall over. It's not like it's a line where you play like tug of war and like, I tripped and then you fall over to the other side and you're stuck there. It's like fenced off. It's a DMZ. It's a demilitarized zone. You can't just like jump into it. Besides, there's mines between. Anyway, I didn't do that. Another fear people had was probably because they didn't know much about it. It's that, well, do you have like proper access to medicine and hospitals, and is it safe there? Can you drink the water? And to be honest, I'm not mad about that. Is it racist? I don't know, because honestly, it's not racist if you're ignorant, or is it? I don't even know that either. But Americans just didn't know a lot about Korea in 2009. But that, of course, was not a problem I faced here at all. In fact, as a guy, as a white male in Korea, there really isn't much to be afraid of. The worst thing that could happen is maybe someone takes advantage of you, or you try and get in the middle of a fight and break it up, and then you get in trouble with the law, and then you get deported. I guess deportation seemed to be maybe the biggest fear that I had. But the whole situation with COVID-19, it's interesting because now the current fear is that the rest of the world is not safe, and I am. Let me explain. I am fine here in South Korea. I wear a mask. There are, yes, cases still happening here, but generally speaking, it's a very low likelihood that I will get COVID-19. Knock on wood, it could happen. But the biggest fear I have now is that someone that I love and care about gets COVID-19 in the States. Think about it. First of all, if anyone gets sick, hurt in the States, it takes at least probably 24 hours to get my plane ticket, get to the airport, get on a plane, transfer from Detroit or Chicago to Columbus, get back in time. A lot can happen. And that's always been a fear in the back of my mind. But now that COVID-19 is ravaging the US pretty terribly, that fear is a little bit closer to reality. And the worst part about that is once I get to the States, if one of the people I care about has COVID-19 and they're in the hospital, I can no longer see them again. Maybe through some kind of plastic curtain, but that would be the extent of it. That's the biggest fear I have in South Korea right now. What do you do if that happens? Do you stay here and hope that your family member survives? I think I would go home and be with my family, the rest of my family, and be together with them so I could be there for them. But I can't be there for the person who is in the hospital with COVID-19. What do I do? And even then, I go there. If they have COVID-19 and they're not in the hospital, do I go back to see them? But I can't really see them. And if I go to America and I come back to Korea, especially because Korea's not taking kindly to high-risk countries like the United States, it's a guaranteed 14 days quarantine when I come back to Korea. I will lose a lot of my jobs as a freelancer. What do you call it? Jobs. So that's my biggest fear right now in South Korea. It's nothing to do with inadequacy in the South Korean healthcare system, which is phenomenal. It's nothing to do with my safety here, fear of North Korea, not speaking the language. I do speak the language, by the way, but even if I didn't, I would be pretty safe here. My biggest fear I have living in South Korea is that something's going to happen to someone I care about back in America. And there's going to be nothing I can do to make the situation better or even be there for them.